Hello again, homeschool mamas. It's Carrie with Any Day Blessings, and on this video I'm going to be sharing with you the very first curriculum change of our homeschool year. So if you follow me on Instagram, you know that we made a change to one of my kids' curriculum this year, and it was my fourth graders. And so if you guessed my fourth grader, you were right. I am making a change. I don't think it's a very big change. You can let me know what you think down below, whether you think this is a major change or a minor change. But I just made this was kind of a little more impulsive than I normally am. I actually did a video not long ago about how to know when to make a change, how to know when to put one curriculum aside and pick up something else. I think I titled it, my curriculum isn't working, what do I do? Something like that. I'll leave it linked below in case you're interested to hear my tips about how to know when to make a change. And this change kind of came up. I didn't really follow my own advice on this particular change. I sort of did, but I sort of jumped the gun a little bit. I kind of acted a little more quickly than I normally would. Normally, I would have given this another 3 weeks or so before I made a change. But in this particular subject, I have really worked hard to not kill my son's desire for reading. And so I kind of wanted to act a little more quickly. So I am making the change in our reading plan. Now, I didn't really have one curriculum for reading. I was picking up different book guides and book studies and things like that, and then using an Evan Moore course. So I didn't really have like an all-in-one reading program anyways. What I'm changing, the change is involved is in some of the pieces, parts that I put together. I am laying those aside and I've chosen something else. So I'm going to, first of all, share with you what I am laying aside, and I'm going to give you the plan of some of the things I'm looking into. I haven't fully decided what we're going to do instead. I'm about 90% sure what we're going to do instead, so I don't have the replacement here yet because I'm still not ready to hit the purchase button. But I do have a plan for what to do instead, and I'd love to hear your thoughts about it. And of course, any other ideas you may have that I should look into. So what we are laying aside, and this makes me sad because we love these guides, and this isn't about the publisher's product that they produced. It's about the style of books that they're asking you to read. So I'm actually going to be laying aside, dun dun dun, my Memoria Press literature guides. I am going to actually sell this one. I'm not going to use this one at all. This one I might do at the end of the year or maybe next year with him. I don't know. But let me start first with this one and tell you why I'm just not using this at all. So when I picked this up, I saw the story of the Pilgrim's Progress, and I saw it was a picture book, or at least maybe a illustrated chapter book. I don't know what you would call it, but it was definitely more visually appealing than the chapter books that we had read before. And so I really didn't look too much into the book per se. I mean, I looked at it, but I wasn't really looking at it from the standpoint of should we use this sort of thing. And it turns out that the graphics in this book were rather frightening, to be honest with you, and the story itself scared my son quite significantly. Now I know that Pilgrim's Progress has some dark moments. I know it has some tense moments, but I think coupled with the graphics in this book, it just made it a no-go for him. And so I'm setting this aside mostly because of the book, not because of this approach to teaching reading or teaching literary analysis or anything like that. I would still highly recommend Memoria Press lit guides kind of across the board, but this particular book was not going to work for us. So we're not going to read this book. We're setting this aside. Now this we are also setting aside, but I think this is just going to be a stop and wait. I think I was planning to read this next with my son, and we're just going to stop and wait on this. The reason for this is because my son has let me know that he is not interested in chapter books at all. Now, I know we have to get past that, and this has been a slow process for us. He wants pictures. He wants short little books. He doesn't he will read one of those third grade detective books in one sitting, and those are technically chapter books, but the chapters are 4 pages, 5 pages, and they're like this tall of a book. So the pages are not, there's really not that much writing on a page. I know he's going to have to get past this. I know it. And so it's I really went back and forth of, do we press on or do we pull back a little bit? And we just finished reading a chapter book by BJU Press, or it's actually the Journey Forth label, I believe. And they did a great job at providing hands-on activities and different fun puzzles and things like that in their book links, which is a literature guide. They did a great job of kind of helping us through that chapter book, because the actual reading of the chapter, he just groaned and moaned. He didn't want to do it. And the activities he really liked. And so knowing that there was this fun activity at the end kind of kept him moving forward to want to get through the chapter. So I was very thankful that we had that book link. I am looking at some of the other book links to see if maybe we can bring other ones into our school year this year, but I haven't made a decision about that yet. Mainly because I was I already have this, and I already have the Evan Moore reading book, so I'm trying not to buy too much more additional stuff until we see how we're going to use the rest of this stuff. But the reason I'm setting this aside is because this doesn't have I love the way they do this, but it doesn't have nearly as many of the type of activities that he enjoyed in this particular content. So I would like to maybe space it out or move it out a little bit to the end until maybe he matures a little bit in, kind of doing things he doesn't enjoy doing. And that's a life skill. We have to learn that. And Mommy and Daddy are really aware of that. But I don't want to kill his love of reading. And right now, he will eagerly and willingly go and read the third grade detective books, these other little mystery books that he has. And so I really don't want to lose that. If I have to set these things aside for a little bit, we'll just feel it out when he's ready to jump back into these books. But for right now, I'm setting them aside. What I'm pretty sure we're going to pick up instead, I will leave a link below to the website, is a series called The Circle C Adventures, the Gold Town Beginnings. And I'm thinking that's probably going to be below his reading level, but it comes with free online, more of the type of activities that he's used to in the BJU book links. And so I know the reading level is below where he is, what he can actually do. So how I'm going to balance that is I'm going to keep up with our Evan Moore reading activities from the reading book that I shared with you earlier this year. And that's at his level. That's kind of right at the top of where he is and what he can read and understand. And that's at grade level. That's reading grade 4 from Evan Moore. And so I'm going to keep up that for the skill development and vocabulary development, all of that. And I'm going to bring in these Gold Town Beginnings books with their literature guides for learning things like endurance in reading. So I'm going to make longer assignments. I'm going to do things like work on fluency with him and adding expression to his reading. So I have a purpose for both. I don't know when we're going to get back to something like this. And I'm handling it, kind of gently, because this is the one area that I don't want to mess with. I don't want him to hate reading, because you learn to read and then you read to learn. So if he is on his own picking up the almanacs and reading pages and pages, okay. If he is on his own going and getting those third grade detective type books off the shelf and reading the whole thing, okay. I'm going to be a little more forgiving in the assignment part of our reading time to make the skill level shorter passages and the fluency, expression, whatever, I'm going to make that at a lower level for him. So let me know your thoughts on this. I hope it makes sense to you what we're planning to do here and the whys and wherefores. Please leave me your suggestions down below on maybe some other books that would maybe be like chapter books, but not like chapter books, that a little 9-year-old boy might enjoy reading. And let me know your thoughts on anything I've shared with you today, whether it's the Memorial Press guides or the BJU book links, and some experiences and things that you've had. I'm happy to talk to you about some of those things as well down in the comments. As always, I love hearing from you guys there. So that is our change. That is the first thing and hopefully the only thing we are changing this year in our homeschool. If you have any questions about the Evan Moore book that we're using and you want to see inside that, I think I already did a video on that, but if I didn't, and you want to see that, please leave that below and I will share that with you when I can. Thank you so much again for watching, and I will catch you in the next video.